You're tuned into the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. And now, here are your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Tonight, racing helmets. What do you really know? We're going to give you the scoop. From the outside in, the Salem Indoor Season Forecast. Aerodynamics. Is it the future of the UAS? And track safety. How far would you go for a weight break? Results, upcoming events, and much more on the show that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere. The Northwest Race Report. Tonight's Northwest Race Report brought to you in part by Blue Line Graphics, Wicked Fabrication, O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies, South Bay Automotive, Creative Ink and Design, and Scott Seal Coat. Informing, improving, and inspiring racers everywhere. The Northwest Race Report, Wednesday nights, 6:30, exclusively at terrybridges.com. And now, back to your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges, Glenn Tower, and Jeff Eden. Oh, what's going on, racers? It is another beautiful Wednesday. I'm your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges, and you're tuned into the Northwest Race Report. I got two of the best guys in the business right here with me tonight. None other than Mr. Glenn Lippy Tower. What's up, Lip?
It's all good in the hood. My driver's number 1, Rusty Rossmeyer. Number 2 is Josh Coley. And number 3 is Dan Watkins, Mr. Consistent.
Boy, I guess. And he's back. He's feeling better.
He looks better.
Yeah. He was back last week, but still, you're looking better. You're looking refreshed. That is the loader himself, Mr. Jeff Eden. What's going on, buddy?
Well, yeah, I got a little refreshed. I just kind of took the rest of the week off last week.
Good for you.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't go to work. I didn't go to work today. Had to take the wife in for LASIK on her other eye, and so I just chose not to go.
Yeah, that's I'll tell you, it's that LASIK stuff it's pretty intense.
It's come a long way.
It has. I remember when Shannon did it, and boy, I mean, just it gives me the weebie-jeebies because that little cutter thing went, when it goes and how it can just slice. I mean, we're talking. Well, it's your eyes, right? I mean, you're not gonna. Well, there's certain things. There are certain things you just don't fool with, and that's one of them.
And you only got 2 of them, and they're not replaceable.
Yeah, I mean, well, have you ever thought about it?
I'm definitely considering it. Yeah, my only problem is my eyes haven't stopped yet. So I just picked up glasses 2 years ago and had to start wearing them full time, and now. I'm ready for a new prescription because they're not working anymore.
Well, here's the deal, though. Because when Shannon got hers done, she was back driving like the next day. They tell you don't, they put those little cups over there and whatever. But she was like driving the next day, and it was like, I mean, I couldn't believe how fast they healed. I mean,
no cups anymore. They just.
But they.
Wow.
Yeah.
But she's already starting to lose it. But that was that was a good. Probably 15 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, because I talked to her about it the other day, yeah. And he told her she'd never have to wear glasses again.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I'm jealous. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Scott Keeney in the house. Tony Williamson, the 227. Ooh, baby.
And Brian Williamson. Good to see both those guys up here.
Absolutely, man. Good to see those guys. Sean Carr, as always. Ricky Worley in the house. Rusty Rossmeyer. Man.
Joe Ransom. There's Dave Chisholm. How's it going, Chizzy?
Chizzy. He's been busy.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, he has. But, so tonight we got some stuff. Last week, Jeff told me after the show, he said, hey, Terry, I got some safety stuff that I want to do. So I thought, okay, that'll work. So it's kind of a safety first show tonight. And so I wanted to kind of be online with what he was going to talk about. I'm not really sure. I just assumed, but so it reminded me that October, I think it was the 15th. That is the new time for the Snell, the new
Yeah, 2005 is no longer accepted.
Yeah.
So it's 2010 and up.
And up. And so I did some research on that. And, several interesting things. And so we're going to get into that. So I've got my stuff on the helmets. But a friendly reminder, guys, make sure I'm going to make a post tonight later on, but you got to make sure you have those in there if you're going to want to race at Salem Speedway, because you got to have it. But I found some interesting things. It's going to be great to talk about that. Jeff is going to be talking about how far would you go for a weight break, and I don't want to spill the beans on that. So we're gonna get through our results and we'll get into this. Our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest, kind of a late call, but Chris Gibb gonna join us from the SoCal UAS, so we'll get to hear what's going down there in Southern Cali. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on down there. I because you don't see a lot of those guys, at least not on Facebook. Whatever, so it'd be nice to see what's going on, how they're doing.
As SoCal, from where to where?
Southern California. So I don't, NorCal is, and then there's, I don't know where SoCal. So that's what I mean. We're going to find out all that stuff.
Yeah, like where they race at.
Paris and some of those tracks there. But so we're going to find out from Jeff, how far would you go for a weight break? And then from the outside in, we're coming from the outdoors. We're heading towards the indoors. So we're going to kind of talk about the Salem Speedway season forecast and aerodynamics in the Unlimited All-Stars. Is that the future of where they're going with that? So I got some interesting stuff there to talk about. And so we got...
As far as weight breaks go, Sean Carr is considering liposuction.
Good. That's an option.
I love it. Daryl Kelso in the house
Yeah.
and Daniel Kravitz. Good to see both those guys,
yeah,
too.
the Sandman, Dan Kravitz from Time Again Racing. That's pretty good. Kevin Bridges, Renee Angel. Yes. All right. Good stuff. So, I don't know, Jeff. You got some results? A few?
I don't have results, but all I got is from I've got all the tracks champions.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
We can
talk about it. And tonight's Winner Circle Wednesday is brought to you by the good folks at Wicked Fabrication in Auburn, Washington. Since 2002, Wicked Fab has been doing the deal in automotive fabrication, from hot rods to you name it. Wicked Fab is the deal. Check them out on Facebook at Wicked Fabrication or online www.wickedfab.com. Well, results. First thing is Derek from over there at Tri-Cities. He has a new website. I wanted to let everybody know. And I thought I wrote it down here, but let me see. I got it. Did I have that? Yeah, I got it right here. But it's similar to the one that Matt Strebe is doing. But I'm assuming that it's more or less more suited to the asphalt. He's not gonna be like against it, but it's called Northwest Kart Dates, and you can find them on Facebook, facebook.com/Northwest NW Kart Dates. So Derek Elmo Biddle is the owner of that page. So stop by there, give them a like, check it out. And then quickly they had only result. I think they had their finale over Tri-Cities. And Derek sent me the new MyLaps. Have you seen the new MyLaps deal with the page? They redid it, right? And it's kind of cool, but all he sent me was the 206 stuff. So I don't know. I guess it was rainy and nasty, and but Craig Chiesa, the president over there, he wins it in the LO206 Masters. And then Derek Biddle was second, Eric Hubley third, Verlene Richardson fourth, fifth was Daryl Hurling, and Badu, Groff, McCarley, and Mark Benton all either did not finish or did not start. So
bummer.
that is a bummer. So yeah, that's kind of the deal there. You've got some track champions, and just may I let you know that I did try. He's just a busy guy. I tried to get Nick Evans on the show tonight. I was going to try to come, but I thought, I'm going to wait. I want to get him on live where we can really talk to him instead of just, recording it on the phone. But I just want to give you a heads up. I did try that, but he's busy. Apparently on Wednesday nights because he's always got meetings late, like 7 to 9. So anyway, what do you got?
Well, I got pretty much everybody's track championships, and Grays Harbor, the 360 sprint cars. Reese gets the champion. Jake Cole was second by 36 points, and Henry Van Dam was third behind 81. Modifieds went to Tommy Sweatman.
Oh, he did finally win that.
Yeah. Last year's champion, Scott Miller, was in second, 28 out. I would have loved to have seen that last race. I just would have loved to have seen it just to watch that battle. And then Kyler Moore, which he'd taken a year off and actually trashed a car this year, so he's in his second car. He was 56 points out. Street Stocks went to Jack Parcel. This is like a broken record with Jack Parcel.
Now, is that the Ford Fairlane that he has? The
no,
red
that
one?
was the Budweiser car.
Okay.
The 9.
Yeah.
And then his good buddy Jason Toll was second, and that was like with 81 points behind. Jack wins a lot of races.
Boy, I guess.
And then Shane Kerrigan with the big Ford Mustang, he was third.
Nice.
The Outlaw Tuners, Don Briggs Sr. was first, Chad Norton second, and Brittany Diggle was third. And then with the I-5 quarter midgets, Nick Evans, Eric Turner was 20 back, and Tristan Thomas was 70 back.
Nice.
The I-5 quarter midgets, which run right next door to the big track. The junior Honda went to Jack Rail. Senior Honda went to Zan Miller. Heavy Honda went to Cody Crawford. Junior Animal went to Zach Rail. Senior Animal went to Emilio Douglas. And Heavy Animal went to Austin Trabowski. Light 160, Zan Miller was your championship. Heavy 160 and Heavy World Formula went to Austin Trabowski.
Nice. That was that's the Graham group, right?
No, that's the one right next.
It's Elma.
Oh,
Elma.
okay.
It's right next door to the big track.
Yeah.
Oh,
I-5.
okay.
We'll move on into Skagit. 360s went to Colton Heath.
Oh, really?
Yep, he won.
That's awesome.
Put it together.
I
Yeah.
think that's like his third, I think. I'd have to go back and check, but Colton's done really well up there. Colton
Yeah.
does well wherever he races.
Carlos probably tickled, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Travis Jacobson was second, and Justin Youngquist was third. Sportsman sprints. Steve Parker, he took home the championship. James Bundy was second, and that was a 1-point deal. Derek Roberts was third with 86. I bet you James Bundy was wanting that last race to get off. That would have been a heck of a deal. In the modifieds up there, Lawrence O'Connor out of Canada, he takes home the track championship, and I think he won it last year too. Melvin Decker was second with 4 points out, and Tyler Ketchum was third, 12 points out. So they had a good tight race with their modifieds.
Definitely.
Tuners. Poor Boy Racing won the Tuners. Vance Hibbard was second, and Means Racing was third. And up there, the Ford Focus Midgets was a Nick Evans, Tristan Thomas, and Eric Tuner. So they had a good that was a good battle up there too. from everything that I.
Well,
could
yeah,
see.
because who was second?
The Tristan Thomas.
Oh, he was because now it wasn't him going in though. There was another guy that was second.
But they got track points plus their combined points for their deal.
Okay.
So the tracks have got a points for them, and then they've got their association points.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I didn't know. Because I didn't think. Well, maybe it was Tristan Thomas, but they were close. It was like what 2 points or something going into the. I mean, it was really close.
See, actually, that Eric Turner and Tristan Thomas were flopped at Grays Harbor.
Who was the guy? Turner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Turner
that's what I thought was. Yeah, and
So yeah, that was it. They were just flopped up at there.
yeah. Wow. That midget series is that's really becoming something.
Well, when you can put, I think the first race of the year was 30 of them there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can remember when Fred started that. There was 4 cars,
Right.
and 2 of them were his.
Well, and Ron Sutton was running them down there in California when he had his school down there. So there's a lot of kids. I was at the quarter midget grands one year, and one kid raced on a practice and qualified on a Friday. They went, and his class didn't race till Sunday. So he takes off Friday night after they get done, drives all the way down there to California, runs that midget, the Focus midget, but it was on pavement, and then gets done with that, turns around, jumps back in the rig, and drives back up Sunday to Alpenrose to run his quarter midget deal there. It was crazy.
That's dedication.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
you
going
bet
to
it
say.
Yeah.
Deming.
Keegan Walmer was his name, by the way.
At Deming, the 1200s went to Brock Limley. Jared Gunderson was second, and Seth Hespy was third.
Way cool.
Seth's actually the grandson of Fred Brownfield.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually, it was kind of funny because I'd seen him at the racetrack.
Right.
I was over at Central at one of Justin's football games, and here's Seth walking down through there. He says, "What are you doing here?" So I go to school here. So
Wow.
he actually went to school over at Central for 4 years.
Nice.
So-
Nice, yeah.
The 600s, the opens went to Kyle Mitchell. Chance Crum was second, and Tanner Holm was third.
There's a guy that had a year, Chance Crum.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be something.
The 600 restriction, Jesse Schofelt was number 1. Tyson Limley was number 2, and Bailey Suchit was number 3.
Suchit, I'm telling you, she's going to be
Somebody.
Yeah, there's a little something right there. I mean, but you look at the work they put in too. But
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It all pays off.
yes, it does. That's one of those true statements right there. Seat time is everything, right? Because I
Yep,
mean, I'm
the
sure
more
she
you
was
run-
racing a ton.
Well, that's the big thing. Like, we don't understand. Back in the Midwest, you race 5-6 nights a week.
Yeah.
And most of those guys are all farmers. Well, they don't have nothing to do in the summer. They're waiting for the fall to, they've put their crop in. They just wait till it comes, so they go racing.
Yeah, heck yeah.
They have a ball. I talked to that one guy, and he did a seat cleaning business. He was down in Vegas there last year. And that's what him and his kid do for the whole summer, is go racing.
How cool is that? Well, everybody around here does too.
Yeah, but not 5-6 nights a week.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
it's
now
crazy.
if you looked at Renee Angel's schedule,
Well,
she was somewhere all the time. I
But-
mean, it wasn't during the week, but
yeah,
I mean,
but that's the
still.
whole thing. They race through the week. Casey Kane Jr.'s, Haley Constance.
Ah,
Wow.
And then there was Blaine Gransberg and Alex Covey. I hope I said that right. And then the midgets at Deming was Chance Crum, Eric Turner, and Colton Heath.
wow,
That crumb,
nice.
crumbs everywhere.
Yeah, he is.
Well, so's Colton. He'll drive anything. If you give him some wheels, he's driving it.
Yep. What helps it is mom and dad are or stepdad, I guess, maybe in this case. Or
I don't know how much they're involved within his car.
okay,
I think he actually drives for somebody with the sprint car.
got
I'd
it.
have to check to make sure. And Carla, if you're listening, tell us.
Yeah.
South Sound, and I had to sit back and do a little bit of thinking here. They have a super late model class, and then they have a late model class.
Yeah, the West Coast late models.
Well, super late models, You must weigh 2,700 pounds with a crate motor in it and 2,850 with an open. And basically all the rules just kind of float along on both of them. But if you're in the regular late models, you got to weigh 3,100 pounds. You can run a wet sump. It's got to be cast iron heads. If you got a crate motor, you can take 75 pounds off of it. And you must have a stock transmission. So you can't run none of the aftermarket gearboxes that the Circle Track boys run. So,
Really?
yeah, I think I did that once I figured it out. Super late models. Bob Presley won that. Rod Schultz Sr. was number 2. And Tommy Elston was number 3. On the late model side, Sean Jones was your champion. Mike Carlson was 2, and Dan Walker 3. The hobby stocks was Marshall Hallett and Dan Walker.
Nice.
Aaron Inboard and Brad Borton were number 2, and Tony Glenn was number 3.
Wow.
The mini stocks, Scott Maynard, he was your champion. Randy Butler and John Baghue. I hope I said that right. Bumblebees went to Chris Bannon. Jerry Claiborne was 2nd. And Tony Laubrin and Dan Walker combined, they were 3rd. The Stinger 8s. Jason Majors, Charles Lemaire, and Kyle Matthews.
Majors won the... Wow.
And then the legends. Number 1, Tristan Hayter.
Wow, good for him.
Number 2, Devin West.
Oh.
Number 3, Jake Woods. The 3 young guns of that class right there together.
Yep.
Nice. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there's...
Mr. Schmoove.
I'd like to get Devin on here one of these days. I know his
Yeah,
dad.
I got to get it. I got to get Tristan on here too, because man, he's back from the Oakwood days,
Yeah.
way back.
Well, yeah. And the baby grands went to Corey Boyle. Brian Crawford was 2nd, and Kurt Boyle was 3rd.
Nice.
And that's kind of the Washington side of things. I don't know if you want to go into Oregon. We can leave Oregon until next week, or you want to go through them all.
We got we could do quickly because I want to try to get all this in tonight, and I know how it we go. But I don't know. It could be. Yeah, we got our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest is going to be none other than the Gibber, Chris Gibb. I guess I'll. Yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead and go. What's wrong with that?
You got it? Then.
Yeah, where you got a Willamette?
Well, we're going to Sunset first.
Oh, we're Sunset? Okay.
Super late models. Jason Johnson was your champion. John Gamble was 2nd, and Jerry Schramm was 3rd. The Budweiser IMCA Modifieds went to Craig Castle. Bubba Foster was number 2. He was just 6 points out. And Christy Summers was number 3, and she was 86 points out.
Wow, close.
Yeah, it is close.
IMC Sport Mods. John Henry was number 1. Michael Melton number 2, and Archie Summers number 3.
Oh, Archie.
Yeah,
all right.
He's still down there banging around.
Dang. Summers Racing Engines. Boy, I'll tell you, he could build a motor.
Street Stocks went to Arnie Case. Dustin Case was 2nd. Benny Sauer was 3rd. Arnie had 8 wins on the year.
Wow, dominance.
That's like a old. You remember Tom Conway?
Oh yeah.
I wonder, is he still down there?
I don't see his name on anything anymore. Pure Stocks, Trevor Labarge. He had 7 wins.
Wow.
Kendall Lee and Joey Tardo. The Northwest Dwarfs was Shane Youngren. Guy Toe Sr. was number 2, and Guy Toe Jr. was number 3. Keeping it in the family.
There we go.
4Bs. Rob Ferreira was number 1. William Wolf and Damon Owen. Micro Sprints Restricted. Lane Taylor.
Stud.
Carney Starr, and Dakota Drake. Micro Sprints Open, Jeff Broadwell, Jeff Little, and Devin Borden. And Devin only ran like 3 races.
Wow.
So
Still third.
And in the 12, Micro 12s,
Mm-hmm.
Jared Gunderson, Brock Lemley, and Chad Reed.
Nice.
And then the newbies was Bailey Jackson.
Well, good for Bailey, the newbies. That's
like-
kind of cool.
I kind of like that, though. I mean, they're
Yeah.
in those 4-cylinder cars and they're
Yeah.
new. Why not? Well, I'm at Super Late Models.
Rob?
Maya.
Yes, indeed.
Joey Tanner.
You know, I think that's number 5 for Maya.
I think it is, too. I was looking at the deal. I emailed her, and she didn't get back to me on that one.
Right.
And Colin Weinberger was number 3.
Superman, that away.
IMCA Modifieds went to Kyle Yak.
All right.
Rob McCombs was 2nd. Colin Weinberger 3rd.
Very cool.
Super Sports. Man, I can't believe there isn't a name in the Super Sports I even recognize anymore. Randy Barley was number 1. Brian Winkler number 2. And Brian Thompson number 3.
Looks like less than 20 points in the top 3, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, close.
Sportsman class. Tom Yak.
Right on.
Tom had 10 wins this year.
Holy moly.
Chad Slover, 198 out. And you're in 2nd. And Jeff Rash. And then I think my cousin's husband, Ryan Emery, finished 5th. So, and he had a good last month. So
Good deal.
looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing what he can do next year.
Top 5, that's something.
That is awesome.
Street stocks. Mikey Brockhill was number 1. Jody Tanner and Lauren Kervinsky. And then the Hornets was Tracy Muse, Rowan Lovin, and Devin Travinsky.
Nice. Let's get a break in here. I want to get an ad in. So we'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Hey racers, Glenn Tower here from the Northwest Race Report. You know, with the invention of the internet, our local go-kart shops have really taken a huge blow. One of the great go-kart shops out there is O'Hagan's Karts and Supplies. They offer a great selection of karts, parts, and service. We all want to win, and O'Hagan's wants to help. O'Hagan's Karts and Supplies, Lebanon, Oregon.
All right. So we're back. So that was Willamette. Rob Mag, good job there. What else you got?
Cottage Grove.
Yeah, the what do they call that? Do you know the nickname? What do they call it?
Nope, I don't.
The Grove.
The Grove.
It is the Grove.
Do you know about the Turn 1 animals?
Nope.
Okay, we'll tell you about that tonight too.
What I liked was I went down there, first time I ever seen the World Outlaws. Went down there and they had what they called the pen.
The pen. Nice.
The pen. You get your beer, and after when there was nothing on the track, they would open up the gate and you go across and you went into the pen, so you could watch the race from the infield.
Can you take your beer with you?
Oh yeah.
Can you load your pockets?
No, you do whatever you want.
I'm on my way.
Ah,
That was I went out there one time and it was like I can't watch from here. They're too fast.
It's the mosh pit, and I'm getting dizzy.
the mosh pit.
That's kind of what Elma looked like when they sent the pictures out Saturday morning.
Wow.
It was crazy.
So who won down at the Grove?
The 360 sprints went to number 1 was Roger Crockett, the Rocket. Kyle Miller was 2nd with -7 points, and Bryson James finished 3rd.
Wow, that's awesome.
First full year in a sprinter, he's done really well. The extreme sprints, Patrick Dills, he took home number 1. Ricky Ashley was number 2, and Raquel Ivy was number 3. Late models, Britton Donahue was your number 1 man. Ron Brewster finished 2nd, and Josh Sim was 3rd. The IMCA modified portion down there, Curtis Towns, Stephen Sturdivant, and Jake Mayhew.
Nice.
Sport mods, Sean Han, Daniel Ray, and Andrew Mathers. That was 8 points separating those three.
I wonder if Sean Hand's related to Robert.
I don't know.
I don't know, but less than 10 points between the top three. Wow.
Your favorite drivers and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics. Well, some of you may or may not know our Blue Line Graphics In the Seat guest. And by the way, Blue Line Graphics, www.blg.blue, has over 50 of the most awesome wraps and designs for your race machine. So check them out, www.blg.blue. Brian Esquini will take good care of you. But you might or might not know our guest tonight. Those of you that are heavy into Speedway probably do. His brother was very good. But that's not taking anything from our guest tonight. It is the Gibster. Treads and tear-offs himself, Mr. Chris Gibb. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, what, well, first of all, how are you?
Excellent. We're pulling tear-offs and mountain treads.
Yeah, this guy will go to his grave with that. So tell me, so life's been good, right?
Excellent. Couldn't be better.
Awesome. And you've got some freed up time now. Are you guys still doing the truck thing?
No, we're done with that for now. They kind of changed the rules through last season to this season, which obsolete the chassis that Lucas used to run. So we're kind of just watching the way that goes instead of continuing on throwing money at it and not being competitive, because that's kind of the direction that it went in.
Right. Well, you couldn't even sell it now if it's obsolete, right? Nobody's going to want that.
Well, actually, in Mexico 2015, Joe went for a super nasty ride. The truck that we had got totaled. He landed on the back of a guy through a rhythm section, and the guy checked up getting into it. They're going about 70 miles an hour into this double out, and the guy checked up getting into it, and Joe was already going by him. The guy changed lanes, landed on the back of the other guy, and started snapping the flips off, which ended up totaling the truck anyways. So we were going to move forward on a new truck, but there was a lot of rule changes that were going to change going into 2016. So we just thought, we're going to wait till they get a handle on this before we start throwing a bunch of money at it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so with that being the case, the new or the reinvented SoCal Unlimited All-Stars, how's that going?
Couldn't be better. We've had a great season. It's great to be back with the SoCal group. They hold some super fun events from we run at the pass where the sprint cars run that can be treads or slicks, which makes it pretty interesting through the day depending on how that goes. We run with John Aiden up at Victorville with the Speedway sprints, and they keep it pretty wet and heavy. So, there's a lot of track reading that goes on, water trucks going on and off, tire selection. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's not, we've done the slick thing and we know what it's about. And to be part of what SoCal, promotes, they're heavy into the treads and tear-offs. And anybody who can come and pass the guy around the top on treads on a tear-off and dropping it in his lap, I don't think there's anything more fun than that.
No. Wow. that wouldn't be you, would it?
Well, for the folks that ran Hanford 2 weeks ago, yeah, they 3 guys in one lap around the top. That was pretty fun. I haven't done that in probably 10 plus years. I raced myself, so it was a blast.
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. So tell me, where is this region? The Southern Cal, I mean, where does it start and where does it? Because I know NorCal comes down from up there at Dixon, right in that area, and then where's the divide?
Well, we run mainly at Victorville this year, and we've run at City of Industry, which is a speedway bike track. We run there once a year. It's a covered arena, very similar to the old Oakwood. It's tight, super racy. We race there, and we also race at Sarasota Speedway. So,
where's Victorville?
Probably, I would basically say an hour and a half south of Bakersfield, roughly.
Okay.
I mean, you're on the 15 freeway headed to Barstow. That's probably easier for me to say. Probably, an hour south of Barstow.
Okay. So, and is Paris more north, or is it further south?
Further south, basically Lake Elsinore area.
Okay, and then City of Industry is?
It's like Santa Fe Springs area. It's pretty close to where we live. It's only like 20 minutes from my house.
Okay. So how close is that to, like, say, Inglewood or where the Angels play? What's the name of that town?
Anaheim.
Anaheim, yeah.
It's probably more, I would say, going towards Pomona to give it a better region area. Pomona, more or less, the city of Hacienda Heights.
Okay. So you're close to L.A. either way, though, right?
I live kind of south of Los Angeles, about probably a half hour in Long Beach, Lakewood area.
Okay. Yeah, my uncle used to live in Anaheim. That's about the only place I know, really. But
So what you're saying, you live between L.A. and San Diego, or that's actually one town now, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we had some track changes from last year to this year. We really enjoyed racing. We used to call it the Sand Pit, which was the other Paris motocross track, but they shut us down because they said that we're too loud for the adjoining area, which is kind of hard to believe when you got motocross bikes racing there. So I don't know if it was just a conflict of interest with the cart and the flat track bikes that also run there.
right.
But we lost that. But we gained, John Aiden brought us on board to run at Victorville. A little more of a haul for everybody, but that's pretty banked. It's about a 12-second racetrack on treads for a UAS car, and it's racy. It's very racy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So what kind of numbers have you guys been? What kind of numbers have you guys been getting there?
Well, it depends. UAS gets anywhere from, I would say, 4 to 8, 10 cars. Yamaha runs around, 10, 15 cars on average. We run both a Yamaha medium weight, 350 pounds, and then UAS rules, obviously in UAS.
Right.
And, we got multiple guys. Chris Southern runs a Jawa. Trevor McAllister runs a 450 car that he got. Boley runs his 250. We run our 131. Another guy runs a Siamese. So it's quite a diversity of guys with different cars. And when you have that kind of racetrack, it's a little bit more of a common denominator of car setup and tires. It's not all motor dependent, without a doubt.
Right. Well,
But
no, I was just gonna say, you look at like up here, if you were to say, for example, hey, I got a GX 390 that I'm gonna, everybody says that, you can't win with that here. I mean, you just can't. Well,
no.
But yet you look at back east, and guys like Mike Evans and some of those other cats are running it, and I mean, they're right there. I mean, they're giving those 450s all they can handle. I mean, now they're not winning per se, right? But I mean, they're still plenty fast, and they're qualifying good up, right up front. So I don't know. I mean, can you win with a GX 390 in the UAS? I mean, I'm sure there's tracks, right? I mean, like Wayne. I mean, look at that thing. I mean, it was at one time, a guy would say on the shorter, smaller bull rings, that thing was going to be unbeatable for quite a while. But you put him out in the big stuff where it's stretching its legs, and all of a sudden it's mediocre at best, right? So I don't know.
I mean, we've had our 131 for a long time now. It's out on the shelf. We ran Holiday Classic with it, back in whatever it was, 2012. We won with it there. It kind of went on the shelf, and I finished 2 times behind Felch with it. So it's a pretty good piece for what it is. But to go run against, I would say Chase and Diotti and Ronnie and all those guys, you're starting to get into aero packages that I think are a little more sensitive. And, I don't know, but I think it's vice versa. I come up there, it's going to be more of a challenge. And if I think you come to Victorville and bring your treads, you're going to have a major handful. I promise you that. It's a whole different zip code to come put treads on and run in the mud and try to figure that out as the night wears on.
Yeah, that would be kind of, yeah. And what are you running for tire there? Are you Burris? Are you running?
Yep.
And what?
All Burris. It's usually a 22, mostly 22. Sometimes early in the season the track was really wet, and it's not really muddy, but it's just spongy and wet. And we've been on 11 too. So you're talking the softest tire Burris makes. And, it takes a lot of driver finesse to get it hooked up, and car setup is vastly different than what you would say going to Salem or Arizona or something like that.
Right. Lippy, have you ever been on 11s?
Yeah, when we had our indoor in Raymond with real clay indoors, we got that wet enough that we could run 11s in there, and it actually had enough grip that we could bicycle it. So you were on 2 wheels in the corners if you drove it in there hard enough.
Wow.
So, yeah, I actually run 11s at Salem for the first few races. So it's just depending on the setup and driver, really.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy. So I see that you're an entry for the BK. You and Joe, right?
That's right.
Wow. So can you tell anybody what you're gonna bring your 131 off the shelf, or?
Absolutely, I am. We've done pretty well, and we've kind of played the odds this year. Dave's kind of done the same thing, running his BRC against the weight challenge and the weight break. I can't make the weight break, but Joe can, and having a driver that weighs 135 pounds and to be able to make it weigh down at its weight, it only has to weigh 331, and our car off the scales weighs 340 pounds scaled. So with that being in place now, it kind of takes the car, and you got to have somebody that can drive it. This is really Joe's first season doing it. Not that he's my kid. He's done a great job. We haven't blown it up. We've learned a lot. And, are we going out there with a knife to a gunfight? Probably. But that's what we got for now. And to go spend the money to upgrade it all, I'm willing to bring it up. It's not about the race. It's about Jeff. And if you lose focus on that, then you're there for the wrong reason.
That is it. That's been said too. It's getting bigger and bigger, and it's a bucket list race for a lot of guys. I mean, but I mean, you're right. It's easy to forget that too. I mean, because it's just becoming such a big deal.
For me, Terry, Jeff bought my twin from me back in 1998 after we raced up at Newman at the Nationals, and I became pretty good friends with him and Ronnie at the time, and obviously Jason through Jason. And, all them guys were great guys. And I raced from 97, 96 up at Oakwood. Jason wouldn't drive, and I would come up and race. And, we took a lot of money out of there in that open class back in the day on feds and tear-offs, and there was nothing like it. I mean, it was absolutely balls to the wall, and it was super fun. So for Renee and Ronnie, I think of those two guys first, gals, who have kept us going for Jeff. And if you lose focus on why you're going to Buda, don't show up, because that's not there to make enemies and cuss and swear at your opponent. Even the guys who come from the Midwest, Far East, we're there to do that and support Jeff because he loves speedway karting. And if I said, well, I'm not showing up because I only got a 131 and I don't have a dog in the fight, I wouldn't be his true friend back in the day. And I can't do it like that. So
yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, it is very. I mean, I know that. I mean, there's times where until you actually get there, I mean, you're just thinking, wow, this thing's going to be, amazing. It's going to be huge. It's going to be, awesome. But yeah, you forget that we're supposed to be there, in behalf of Buda. So I hear you, but nonetheless, it still doesn't take the excitement away from it, right? I mean, it's a
heck no.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. I think Joe Torres said, well, other than the Holiday Classic, it's the biggest race on the West Coast. Well, the Classic's been there forever, and I'm not taking anything away from it. But I mean, the BK. I mean, if we're talking quickness, boy, that thing has become. I mean, shoot, it's crazy. I mean, the entries aren't as big. But it seems like just the event itself it's a national deal now. I mean,
yeah, just to Jason raced it a few years back. I didn't race. We didn't race last year with the truck deal that we were involved in, and unfortunately we didn't make it. But this year, being that we're going to be freed up, Joe wasn't able to race the last, because he wasn't 18 years old. So this is his first year being able to race it, and he's only 19, and he's done a pretty good job, and I want to give him a shot out there. Do I wish I had a big motor? No. I'm not going there with that attitude. I'm going to go there with the attitude to win.
That's it, man. That's what you got to have. You hit it on the head when you said, if you're coming here for any other reason other than, I mean, hey, you're here to go race. I get that, but it's also,
I will unload it. I promise you, Terry, I will unload it on treads, and everybody who's listening can laugh and come watch.
Love it.
Yeah, give. He brings it, man. He brings it.
You're my kind of guy to like to stir the pot.
Yeah. Hey, man. Well, he calls a spade a spade. I mean, it is what it is. So,
I got to go back to. I love where UAS has went. I saw your post about is aero important? Come on. Well, aerodynamics starts at 25 miles an hour. So if you don't know that, if you haven't done your homework and watched the development of snow, and Chase has got a car built like that now that looks like it works pretty well, you're just going to fall behind. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of it's becoming liquid money to keep up with the Joneses. So that's where for us, we have some other interests too, and I can't afford to pour that into it at this time, but it doesn't make us any more motivated to go out there and compete. So it'll be fun. We look forward to it. I'm gonna race Yamaha Heavy at Buda, and Joe's gonna race UAF. Nice.
That should be really awesome. Well, that's killer. That's super killer. Well, hey,
and
Matt, go ahead.
Just a quick side note. My pop's 75th birthday is the 26th of this month, and Joe, myself, and Joe's girlfriend, we're all going to fly up for his birthday, and we're going to be at Salem that weekend. So
you'll be there for the 29th opener.
Yep, we're going to bring a Yamaha. My dad wants to make some laps.
Good deal.
For his birthday, and we're not going to deprive him of that. So we're going to fly up, do a little celebration, and make some laps. It'll be a cool deal.
Yeah, it will be super cool, and we get to have cake and ice cream too.
You can plan on that.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Well, right on, Chris Gibb. I appreciate you calling in and being a last second deal, but I appreciate your support and always have, and you've been a big supporter of me, and I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much, you guys. Good to hear from you. Lippy, you too. And we'll see you in a couple weeks on Friday. We'll be there to pound some laps.
We will be there Friday
Awesome,
and
Chris
Saturday.
Gibb. Thanks a lot, my man.
All right, man. Thanks again for having us.
All right. Good night.
See ya.
Man, Chris Gibb, I mean, he does, stir the, but it's cool stir, right?
Oh, yeah. No, he's a good guy.
I mean, he's not
definitely.
really stirring it. He's just saying, I mean, that's just Chris, right? Bring it. I don't know.
Saying it like it is,
I'll
really.
I'll race anything. Yeah. I mean,
Little trivia from Matt Strebe here. Last year at the BK8, there was 129 entries. The Holiday Classic around 50. So
yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's,
But that is not taking away anything from the Classic.
Oh no, definitely not. That's also
huge,
another bucket list race
yes,
for
it is.
a lot of people.
Yes,
so
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
definitely not pulling anything away from it. Just saying.
Yeah, no, yeah, I totally get that. That's that is the that's what's going on. So well, we've got some stuff. We still gotta talk quickly. We'll do the what do you? Oh, that's right. You got some OMC stuff, right?
Yes,
All
I
right.
do.
Well, you know what? You're on.
OMC, if you don't know who that is, that's the Idaho Speedway Karting Group over there. They had a race last weekend. On Friday, the Senior 4 heat race went to Cully. Second was C. Anderson. Third was T. Anderson. And 4 was Schmitger. I'm not sure if I'm
Dale.
saying...
Yeah, that's right. Schmitger.
Dale Schmitger. I only got last name, so I apologize for that. The main was Cully. Number 2 podium was C. Anderson, and Schmitger was 3rd, and T. Anderson was 4th. So
Now, you know who T. Anderson is, right?
no, I don't.
He was that independent that came and ran BK with the kind of had the orange. It was, what is it? I don't know. I don't think he was there last year, but he was there the year before, and he actually he got in the. I think he got in the show. He ran
with a 4-stroke, wasn't it?
a
little one.
Yeah, you know what? I think it was.
Yeah,
But he was like the sleeper, and he ran really good. I mean, really good.
nice.
So
So on Friday, the UAS, Coley took the first heat. Lawrence was second. T. Anderson was third, and Daniel Watkins was fourth. Rusty King was fifth. I believe King had some issues, might have tore a rear sprocket off of it or something like that. Daniel was the first time in the UAS.
this is senior or junior?
Junior, but they
Wow.
they let the junior UAS run with the UAS because there just wasn't enough of them. So he got to run with the regular UAS guys. He put an alcohol carb on there. Did really well. Hats off to Watkins and King. They made the big tow over there to hang out with the Idaho group, and I'm very proud of them. They are great supporters of our whole sport. And, just hats off to them guys traveling around like that and showing everybody some love. I know Ransom reached out to them and thanked them for their travels. I wish I could have made it, but it just didn't happen. So the main event on Friday night for the UAS went to T. Anderson. Look at that. He pulls it off, pulls up to number 1. Watkins number 2, and Cully number 3, Lawrence number 4, and King number 5. So great to see 5 UAS carts over there tearing it up and having some fun. On Saturday, Senior 4, Heat Race 1 went to Ransom. And then Schmitger again in number 2. The main over there in Senior 4 was Schmitger, and Ransom comes in number 2. So good job for those guys. Great to see all that happen. This was the last race over there for the outdoor season, so good job to them. The UAS, they made it through a heat race. Cully came in first on that one. King second. Watkins third, and Lawrence fourth. And then just from some of my chatter that I picked up on the internet, they might have watered a little bit too much after that, and the track went sour. So the UAS guys chose to not go back out and beat their stuff up or ruin any parts. So, great deal for the Idaho group. I hope they keep going over there and, keep trying to draw more and more of us over there.
to get it done. They come over and support our stuff. We really need to try and get over there and support their stuff. So great job for everybody that puts that on. I know Cully's pretty involved in that, and we appreciate that. So just keep the results coming. These results came to me from two different sources, Watkins and from Matt Strebe Fest Promotions, who is a great promoter of speedway karting in the Northwest and all around. So look him up at Strebe Fest Promotions. You'll find the BK sign-up sheet there. This is not an official that's affiliated with Salem or Ronnie Cox or anything like that, but he does a really great job of driver promotion, letting everybody know what's going on around here and keeping a tally of anybody that's willing to send him the information. So if you got something you want him to get up there, let him know. If you're just looking for some results, look him up. There's plenty of stuff there. Let's see, what else have I got here? Salem, race receivers are mandatory this year, so if you're going down to race, make sure you guys are set up with race receivers and also helmets. Yes, 2010 is what it's going to be this year from this point on, so keep that in mind. And then I will be down there the opening weekend to race in Yamaha and the Sportsman class. So this is a call out to any of the Sportsman racers that race with us. We're going to be trying pushing that class down there. So bring your Sportsmans down on the opening weekend. The next time I'm going to be making it down there for sure with the Sportsman and the KTs is going to be December 3rd. So bring that stuff out and let's show them some force of that class. We've got a lot of you guys out there. We need to get her done and make it happen. So
absolutely.
That's pretty much all I've got as far as results go. I know I seen on the chatter on the web that Missouri is starting up their indoor series. That came in from, I believe, Scott Warning. And also, I seen that there was another one that was starting up back there in the indoor series. So, get out and support those people that are putting those shows on. It's not easy, folks. It's tougher in the winter, definitely. So we need to make sure we get out and show our support to all those people wherever they are running.
Absolutely.
Hi, race fans. My name is Jesse Schlotfeld, and you are listening to the Northwest Race Report.
Well, we got. I was just talking with the Chismeister, and he was saying they're kicking off in full swing. Let's see here. That's right, because it wasn't on there. He said that they've got a bunch of stuff coming up. It would be. Let's see here. I know that. Down in Tennessee, they are getting after it. Let's see, right here. Here it is. The Burris Nationals at Dumplin Valley. That's coming up. U.S. at Beaver Creek on the 29th of October. Magnolia Motor Speedway, 3/8 Black Gumbo Clay. That's in Columbus, Mississippi. The O'Reilly Indoor Nationals, that's in Batesville. 1,000 to win. That's on Thanksgiving. And, so that's kind of what's going on back there. I guess we can kind of, we got enough. We can get her in. BK9, everybody. Pre-registration is officially open tomorrow at noon. And you can go to www.salemspeedway.wix.com/SalemSpeedway1 for all the BK fees and forms. And what you got to do is you got to hover over the home button and then click on the BK tab that appears. So official registration starting tomorrow at noon for BK9. Crazy how it's almost like it's almost like having Christmas in October, sort of, but it's cool. And hopefully, like Lippy was just saying, that all the UAS junior drivers, they're hoping to get enough there to be able to run something. So, be sure you get check that out. You can go to the American Muscle Car page, and they should have the Unlimited All-Star Junior UAS rules there, or you can go to the Mississippi Unlimited All-Stars, Dave Chisholm. You can check their Facebook page. They should have all the rules and regs on that junior stuff there for you. Let's see. Salem coming up. We're coming from the outdoor to the indoor. The forecast, I think, is going to be killer. They're going to kick things off. They've got a cage cart challenge. So there's no cage cup this year, but they're going to have the cage cart challenge. So what's going to happen is it's no points, but whoever can sweep the two shows, not only 2 purses, but a third. So in other words, show number 1 is $1,000 to win for open cage. Got to have a minimum of 15 carts. Show 2, the jackpot to be announced, but it's growing. And then show number 2, they also have a helmet to give out to the 125cc, a bully clutch to the Pee-wees, and a race suit to the 5-horse opens. So, so for the sweep winners, they have a new wing for 125, 250, and 500 classes. And any kids classes that sweep get $100 off a new wing. And the sponsors are Schofield Carts and Parts and Oregon Outlaws. Also, Blue Line Graphics, Burris, because it's I don't know if that is a Burris tire rule. I think it is. I know the Salem Indoor, all the Speedway stuff is on Burris tires. So, yeah, I'm thinking that that's the deal there. So that challenge is going to be sweet. So they're going to run one at the start of the year, one at the end of the year, and that's how it's all going to go down. So no cage cup. I'm not sure what happened with that deal. It was just kind of crazy. But and then did you hear I think it's for the BK? They got a chassis to give away.
Oh, wow, nice. I think there's a few big things coming for the BK. They're just waiting on some feedback and to make sure that everything falls in the row. I know Ronnie's been working pretty hard, and so has Jason. So yeah, there's a few good things coming down the pike as far as that stuff goes.
Yeah, that's really a shot in the arm too for that. I mean, that's cool because, well, I don't know. You said, well, you don't want money because then you got guys running over their mother for them. But you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is that any worse than a chassis? You know, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. You know, it really is a mindset, and it's up to the race director and the flagman to try and get a hold of that kind of stuff right off the bat. Because we had $1,000 on the line at the Betty race, and you know, it all went off really, really, really well. You know,
right.
Everybody was for the most part very cordial.
And don't forget the other sponsors there are Speed City from Medford. They're putting up the chassis for the not for the challenge, but for the BK, I do believe. And then Burris Tires, BLG, and then you've got Hampton Inns. And so make sure you support those guys whenever you can there. Hampton Inns is awesome. You'll probably want to make reservations there, you know, soon. If you're going to be doing the BK, because that's going to fill up quick. I know that. So we can get her done. You know, so Salem's going to be awesome. The Yamaha class should be just absolutely outstanding. Light and heavy. You know, there's been more heavies than lights. Have you noticed?
Yeah, definitely. Well, people are growing. So
Yeah.
Hey, easy.
I'm growing too, buddy. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, but I mean, it should be.
I'm gonna go to that liposuction deal.
Sean, leave it to Sean Carr, right?
Hey, I agree with him.
I like
Well,
that guy.
Yeah. What's the name of that doctor? Oh, Dr. Darms, right? That's
Kevorkian?
Yeah, no. Oh my God!
I just aged myself right there.
Well, you know, here's the deal, guys. Okay, so we talked about the helmets. Okay, you got to have that new. You've got to have that new. It's SA 2010. You know, there was an SA, and then there was a K that was actually for karting.
Yes,
on the Snell
Mm-hmm.
deal there. But the thing that blew my mind is let me get here and see what here. So the difference, everybody says, well, what's the difference between an SA, an M, and a K?
M's for motorbike, isn't it?
It's for motorcycles. That's correct. But it's still, it's still
approvable.
Yes, it's exactly. So the SA was designed for competitive auto racing, while the M was for motorcycling and other motorsports. The K was released to accommodate helmets used in karting. But the three major differences between them are the SA has to have a flammability test, while the M and K helmets don't. The S and K standards allow for a narrower visual field than the M. Obviously, that makes sense when you're driving on the street versus on the racetrack. And then some SA and K certified helmets may not be street legal. So because of that narrow field of vision. And then the S and K standards include a roll bar multi-impact test, while the motorcycle one doesn't. The M does not. So that's the deal there. But I was.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes. And there's even some higher ones above that, but that's just the basic thing. So I've got the copy of the stickers. I'm going to put them up on the page so you guys can see what they look like. But you got to have one or the other. But the 05 stuff is done. But I was in doing my research. What's crazy is there's three. There's three or four. So you've got the DOT, which is the Department of Transportation, right? And then you've got the Snell, and then you've got the ECE, which is the UN Economic Commission of Europe. Now, here's the interesting part about this, is that helmet rating it doesn't get very much recognition, but it's actually the most common helmet certification internationally, required by over 50 countries worldwide. It is approved for all competition events by AMA, WERA, FIM, CCS, Formula, USA, and MotoGP. So they do a lot more testing on it. It says here, it favors a more impact-absorbent helmet, allowing a maximum of 275 Gs. And, God, it's crazy how they do it. They use it on an anvil, right? They've got different anvils. One's got, like, a little nub on it. And then there's a flat one. And, they actually drop the helmet, boom, on these different anvils in order to because that's what they measure is the brain. So it's more or less coming to a stop. Right, you're accelerating super, boom, you hit, bang. So they're measuring those G's. The Snell Foundation was 300, but they've lowered it down since then because everybody says it was just way too stringent. But the ECE and it's the R22-05 is arguably the most up-to-date helmet certification standard. Its wide use in a variety of level motorcycle racing classes is reassuring to many, but so they're saying basically the ECE certification is better than the Snell, because they said the Snell is actually they're too stiff. They're not soft enough. So you know what I mean? They resist all these impacts and everything, but it's not so much
it's not absorbent.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're just way too stiff. So it says they do an impact test by dropping the helmet onto a flat anvil. They test the chin strap for breakage, the buckle part, and then they actually check the material at a tension failure of 670 pounds of force. They test for abrasion resistance. The shell is tested for deformation under a weight of nearly 150 pounds, and the visor is tested as an integral part of the helmet. So there was one of the questions on there, well, so what's the difference between a Snell certification for a $79 helmet and one for $400? And basically Snell said, well, it's not necessarily the the rating. It's the helmet. You got the style of it and this, that, and the other thing. So that's what rate. So really, there is no difference as far as the testings go versus a four. So theoretically, from what I'm gathering, you could run a DOT helmet and actually not be as bad off as we once thought you would be. Everybody says, "Oh man, a DOT helmet? Are you out of your mind?" But no, it's not, because I think the DOT one, they don't they drop onto a spherical anvil from a height of 1.83 meters, and the helmet is dropped on a flat anvil from a height of 1.83 millimeters. Pointed striker is dropped onto the helmet, and weight is applied to the retention system, 300 pounds for 120 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So that's how that goes. The other thing about the ECE is they make you do 50 helmets at a time, and they have a third party do the rating with the manufacturer and the ECE guys there to watch the third party do the thing.
And that's the way it should be. Really.
That's what it is, the way it should be. But Snell doesn't do it that way.
No, it's their test.
Right. But
and do they test one out of a batch or two out of a batch?
Well, that's what I mean. The ECE makes you do 50 at a time before it says where the DOT is done on an honor system, and Snell is optionally allowing mini helmets to fall through the cracks. The ECE standard requires that helmets be tested before the model can hit the market. So they have to send a batch of 50 production versions of the helmet for independent testing. Third-party lab with witnesses from both the manufacturer and ECE in order to grant certification. So, I mean, man, do your homework on this, people. Don't just assume that you're there. Now, Snell, on the other hand, is the new Snell is the M2010 is set to replace it's there now, and so the M205 is no longer. So that is just so you guys know. But it's 5 years is what they say you should replace them at. 5 years, whether you need it or not, because they said, the heat, your body sweat, all this petroleum-based products, all this stuff can, degrade.
Compromise.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, it says experience indicates that there's a noticeable improvement in the protective characteristic of helmets over a 5-year period due to advances in materials, designs, production methods, et cetera, So make sure you do that. And then the other important thing is when you the other one was Sharp. If you ever get a chance to go check out their webpage, it's over in the UK, but it is let's see here, Sharp Direct, SHRPDIRECT, sharpdirect.gov.uk/, and they'll show you. They do 32 different tests on their helmets, and they analyze national and international crash studies. So they help that selects where they're going to hit the helmet based on that crash stuff.
Crash data.
Right.
Oh,
Because of where it's going to hit. So they run
smart.
32 tests across a range of sizes, and it's pretty interesting. But the biggest thing, guys, I want to tell you is it says here they've got a great video on there on how you should fit your helmet. You need to measure your head around the forehead and just above the ears. You need to try it on. And they say, when you wiggle side to side, your helmet, your cheeks should move with it and stay in contact with the pad. Check the fit. You got to secure it good. Any slips, and it's probably the wrong size. So, and then up and down. So you're supposed to put it on, cinch it up, get it where you like it, lean your head forward and have somebody push up from the back to try to roll it off. If it can roll off, it's the wrong size. So, and will it stay on? And that's what I just told you. You got to hit it. So make sure, they say don't rush this process. Put it on. Make sure it fits. Wear it around for a few minutes. But it says you should feel it all over your head. You shouldn't have pressure points or anything like that. It seems like common stuff, but the other thing is...
well, so many times what looks cool.
And that's what it is. And buying online is a no-no. They say no way. Each head is different. Each helmet is different. As much as they'd like to try to make them all the same, each one's going to fit a little different. So they say do not buy it online unless, I mean, they just say it's not. They don't advise it. And used stuff, hand-me-downs, they say that's even though it's not a good thing. They don't recommend it. And they say if you have any doubt or any question about whether or not the helmet has been compromised, any at all, they say replace it. Don't even mess around, replace it. If it's been in any kind of an impact where it's hit while you've been racing, replace it. So, I don't know. That's just, it was just really interesting that ECE, I'd never even heard of it. So, and that's more prevalent than the Snell. So, don't be sold on that Snell stuff, people. But make sure those stickers are in there. That's the rule. And I'll put them up on after the show tonight, so you guys can have all that, but and see what they look like. But make sure you get that, because you're not going to be running if you don't have it. So
I don't know how well it's enforced in Salem, so we have some people getting a little freaked out over that, and I'm not sure that the 2005s are going to be thrown out or anything like that down in Salem. We haven't heard from Jason Susich, so I'm not going to say that that's going to be the case. I know if you show up at ORV next summer with a 2005, you will be turned away. I can guarantee you that, but I cannot answer for Salem whether they're going to be turning anybody away with the 2005s or not. You would want to get a hold of Jason Susich on that, but as far as ORV goes, the 2005s will no longer be valid as of next year.
Absolutely. And coming up, we have, how far would you go for a weight break? I mean, that is the real question. So Jeff will be back right after this.
Hey race fans, this is Shane One Time Smith, and you're listening to the Northwest Race Report with your horsepower and performance broadcaster, the one and only Terry Bridges.
Jeffrey, so how far would you guys go? Chime in on the chat line. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how much. How far would you go for a weight break? And Jeff, tell us why that is.
Well, I was anybody who is into dirt racing, period, go to onedirt.com. Great website. They got all kinds of different articles and stuff in it. And this is where this article came from. But Ponderosa Speedway in Kentucky. It's a 3/8 D-shaped oval, fairly fast from what I'm understanding. Evidently, safety hasn't been a large concern for the racers. So the track has started offering weight breaks for certain safety items. So if you wear a Hans device, you're going to get a 30-pound weight break.
Wow.
Dang.
If you're going to put on an onboard fire extinguisher, there's another 20-pound weight break.
So theoretically, that's 50 pounds right there.
Yeah, well, by the time you put the onboard on, you're going to
lose a little bit.
Yeah,
but
you're
still.
gonna, but you're in general, and you could lose some somewhere else. But there's 50 pounds right there. They're offering you if you'll
just be safer.
Just these two safety devices.
Something that you should be.
That's where the article kind of stung me. I think it's stuff that you should be doing. You shouldn't have your own personal safety should be first. And if you can't afford your personal safety, then to me this is kind of a bribe. But is it a good bribe or is it a bad bribe?
Well, I don't know. I guess you could look at it as, so is this going to cause a holdout now? Oh, nope, we're not running. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll run if you give us 50 pounds if we put that on. Nope, it's mandatory. No, we want 50 pounds or we want 20 pounds. I don't know. I mean, like you said, I think it should be something you're doing. But on the other hand, the track does have a little bit of responsibility, and if that's what it takes to get everybody safe and sound, I don't have a problem with it.
And then there was another part of this story where they were talking about full containment seats are recommended. So I kind of did a little research and through running with the guys in the modifieds and stuff around the country here, the full containment seat is one of the best things that's ever been built. Randy LaJoie's, he's got the neatest seat, but you're talking $1,800. But it's your safety. Chris, the guy that I help on the race car, he was fitted back last year at Boone. He went and got in one of those seats. Randy actually fit him into the seat. And he told me, he said, if I had that seat, it would come out of the race car at the end of the year, and it would go in my living room as my main chair. That's how comfortable they are. So, and I believe in those containment seats. But here comes the catch-22. The cars, like say, let's go with the modifieds. The current modifieds that are out there, the older cars, say from 13 back, the cockpits were built small. You don't got a lot of leg room. You don't have a lot of arm room. They're just built small. Well, if you put a full containment seat in it, you can't get in the cars. And this is one of the things that we're kind of right now. We're kind of caught between two different eras of, the containment seat, something that everybody wants. But if you're going to get a full containment seat, you're going to be buying a new car, or at least a 15 or somewhere in that area. And a lot of the manufacturers, they have stepped up. Shaw, Harris, GRT, they all have the bigger cockpits now. But you got a 2012 car that isn't used up. Do you want to go buy another one?
Well, I don't know why. I get why. They're probably trying to make it lighter and all, but I don't get why they would have ever changed. And as far as that goes, make up that size somewhere else. You can. I had to put an extended foot box in mine, but I don't know. It's great they're stepping up, and it is a bummer you'd have to buy a new car. But there again, so what happens? So if let's hypothetically say, okay, so I've got this car, my self-containment seat. I can't get one because I'm going to have to sell my car. And so it's not worth I don't know, how much were they going to give him for that? 30 pounds, whatever it was?
No, the containment seat's just recommended.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the things that they're pushing, but...
Right. So I was going to say, though, if they were given a weight for that, well, it would be kind of tough, right, to do that because not everybody can do it. But a Hans device or a onboard, pretty much anybody can do that. That's not going to affect the car. So if you want to race, I don't know, what's 50 pounds mean to you, right? Whether you do or you don't. So
50 pounds is a lot. When you figure you can take that 50 from wherever you wanted to.
Right, but I'm saying what the racetrack is saying is they're saying if we do this, all it's going to take is one guy to do it, and everybody else is going to have to follow suit.
Yeah,
because nobody's going to want to run 50 pounds heavier than everybody else. Yeah. So you get one, and you pretty much, the domino effect's going to take place.
That's what they're hoping for.
But that's what, say I go down to your carts down there, and I tell them, like we were talking with Ronnie,
right,
got hit, and maybe if you'd had a Hans device, his head wouldn't have popped back that far. Oh, well,
maybe.
Do we have a weight break for a Hans device? This is where that's what I'm saying.
I know, but here's the deal, though. Okay, so his head did hit that, right, and went back and hit that, and it knocked him. He wasn't right, and that was that wasn't that big of a it doesn't take very much. No. So, but here's the real question. Was that enough? I mean, did it scare him enough that that the guy's going to go get a Hans device? That's the real question. Is it? I mean, my guess is probably not. I mean, even if it's mandatory, I mean, it's they were saying IndyCar thing. They were saying that at Texas they had to cancel that one IndyCar race
because they were going way too fast.
And there was guys admitting that they were blacking out while they were going down the backstretch there.
Wow.
Because of they were saying it's because of the helmets and the way it sits on the head and the cars were. But I mean, you think about that. But nobody really said anything until they said 21 out of the 25 guys said that they were feeling weird, blurred vision, all this stuff, feeling like they were gonna pass out. I mean, can you imagine? Because they were going over the rumble strips, and that's when the guy was blacking out. I mean, if you need to go to some of these sites and read up on it, it's incredible. It really is, and we take it for granted. We don't take it serious enough. And speaking of that, the UAS guys, we're talking about aerodynamics and all that. Those guys are hauling. You heard Wes. He said, two? Some people say, well, 2 Gs. Well, okay, but this is a go-kart, people. It's not a Formula One car. So, but I mean, the more aero they get, the more it goes. The more that's gonna pick up. So all of this kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, Lippy, think about it. 2 Gs, right? And they were in that D shape because that's what it was. But good God, those things are going to get, the more downforce they get and all that. I mean,
it's going to be more corner speed, more speed.
But then again, you go back to the guy that had the accident there that we had talked to that had the broken arm and stuff.
Andy Foley
had the fire. Do we wear a full fire suit?
I think it should be. That's there's a lot of chatter on the comments about that, about the UAS. They think that they should all be wearing driver suits now in the UAS.
That's what I said, but then I got the remark of, no, we don't need another expense or another, I mean.
But we don't need another expense. But that fire back there, regardless of how it had happened and how it, what caused it, was still a fire.
Yep.
Still come down to, it's a fire. And I have seen guys, there's a couple guys that I know through drag racing, got burnt bad. Herm Peterson has no use of his fingers. And that happened back in the 70s. It's just, you see one of these people, or, the guy, God, I can't think of his name now, the one up at Spanaway. Got out of the car, dropped, rolled right through the gasoline.
Oh, jeez.
Well, he was on fire from the car. So he didn't know that the fuel cell was broke. So he hit the ground rolling, and he rolled right into the gas. He got burnt bad.
Yeah, I know. Here's that piece. It says, while running practice laps, they were reaching relatively higher than normal speeds. They were going 236.9 on the oval's 24-degree bank turns. Drivers were subject to over 5 Gs on their bodies. Wow. And of the 25 drivers, 21 of them complained about being disoriented and dizzy while racing. Others complained of visual problems, and one driver admitted to momentarily passing out on the backstretch and drifting into the banking. It says every driver that competed more than 10 laps had trouble. It was eventually determined that these symptoms were due to a lack of blood flow to the head and inner ear imbalances because of the high vertical Gs. And we're going there. I mean, I know everybody says, well, it's, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just saying that I think that with all the neat body stuff and everything we're getting, it's like you said. I mean, I mean, Lippy, I mean, you're kind of on both ends. You're a president of a club and you're, a racer. But, I mean, with all that new stuff, I mean, sooner or later, I mean, we're worrying about, 5 or 10 cc's, right? I mean, we're not even really, I don't think, we're not really addressing. We need to be addressing stuff like the Andy Foley thing, and the fire suit, or the, like Kevin Bridges has built that thing to keep from burning his arm, I mean, just, even if you use those wraps for your Hans device, those little things to keep your head, the restraint systems or whatever they call. I mean, those are the bigger fish we need to be frying instead of, griping over 1 or 2 or 5 cc's or a, pound here or there. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's definitely a case. I think there's a lot of issues here that are mounding up, and what's going to happen is somebody's going to end up getting terribly hurt, and at that point, then we're going to see a bunch of stuff trickle down. I mean, if you even started to think about the amount of fuel that these guys are taking on board now, we used to carry less than a gallon, less than 3/4 of a gallon to run a whole race, and some of the guys that are running the UAS that are running alcohol are hauling 2.5 gallons of fuel with them now. I mean, and where do you put that? You put it right between your legs, and we don't. You can run in nylon pants or sweats or whatever. Bottoms.
No.
Yeah,
no.
see, that's
for
what
number one, if you're running methanol there and you don't have a fire suit and completely, you're crazy. Because for number one, when it happens, you don't see the flame.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
You're burning before you know it.
Here's another thing. I bought a new jacket because mine got stolen last year. So I bought a brand new kart racing jacket, okay? This is what it's supposed to be for. And my first weekend out, the thing touched my tailpipe and melted to pieces in seconds. Now, how can they even sell that as something that is supposed to protect me when it touched the tailpipe, which, it should have been able to withstand that for at least 30 seconds before it freaking melted to me, and it did it within a second.
See, and that's the point I'm trying to make here. Great topic to bring up, Jeff, but I'm saying that we spend hours and hours in front of the computer. We'll buy discs, we'll buy software, we'll buy programs so we can homework our setup stuff to death. But when it comes to things that, because they don't happen very often. Look at Ronnie a couple of years ago at that BK. You know how hard he hit that concrete wall?
Mm-hmm.
It should have broke both of his legs. It was wide open. There's a grace of God he didn't break both of them or his ankles or something, but that's what I'm saying. So why? That's what I'm saying. Do your homework. Get online and go to these. Just type in motorsport safety, and you will be amazed at the stuff people are doing and trying to do. And fire suits, like you said, fire suits. Well, there's one. They're all. I don't know. The thing is you've got to be sure when you buy that thing that if it says 11 seconds, you pretty much believe it's going to be 11 seconds. Yeah. But you don't just do that buying it off the hanger. You got to do some research.
Yeah. Or have it made. That's one of the things.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing, because a lot of these guys run around with these fire suits. They're all baggy and they don't fit right to start with. Go have it custom made. There's an outfit right up the road up here in Tukwila. They'll make them for you. They fit. They're proper. And I guarantee you, they guarantee their work. Steve Kinzer wears one of them.
Yeah, it's the Design 500. They are good. But that's what I'm talking about, Lip. We're saying jackets. Phil Afau, his wife or former wife Shirley had the racing rags.
Yeah.
And all that stuff was, they basically brought in the Cordura stuff. If it's not Cordura.
And everything should be.
It should be.
That's what I'm reading right here with all the comments.
It's the best.
Skid resistant, fire resistant.
Leather's still not bad, but if you start looking at the facts about it, even it's got. The Cordura is just the best deal.
But yeah, we can go back and go down to a Willamette when you were racing and helping a certain individual and watch him take and go time in, hot lap his car, and then go put his fire suit on.
I know. It's
Bob Jeffries.
Did
it every time.
I know. It is crazy. And people just overlook it. It'd be 100 degrees out, and they don't. I wore a sock. I wore my gloves. I wore a layer of underwear. I wore my suit. It was a double layer. My socks. Because I was, if there's anything in racing that scares the live, it's
fire.
Yeah, it is. And so, God, great topic. I just think because it kind of goes hand in hand with everything. So this winter, you guys take a look at stuff, and make sure you're getting your stuff and getting the good stuff.
Well, and it's like Terry said, do the research, find that out. I didn't realize that it wasn't fire resistant when I got it, but you can believe that I'm looking for something this time that is more fire resistant. The Cordura, definitely. I had no idea what I was getting because I just didn't do the legwork. So it's very important that you do that.
Yeah.
Joe Ransom says back to leathers. I'm not so sure that wouldn't be, that or Cordura. I mean, but even back then, it was in the mid to late 80s. Those things were nice. I mean, they came in a myriad of colors. I mean, they had British green. I mean, he had some cool looking suits, and you could get them in the jacket. And then they had the ones where they zip. Well, there again, that's just another weak point where something can go wrong or melt or whatever.
Have that zipper get hot.
So,
Exactly.
But then again, it still comes down to the point here. You have to take control of your own personal safety. When I was racing, I wanted to go home at the end of the day. I went out and I raced. I had fun, but I also knew if something happened, unless it was catastrophic, I was safe.
Well, yeah, and there's no guarantee, even if you do have all the best stuff money can buy, that, stuff happens, but at least going in.
I'm giving myself a fighting chance.
Yes, I'm as prepared as I possibly can be, just like I'm going to go to the race. I may not win the thing, but I'm as prepped as I can be to have a shot, and it should be the same way there. And so, we're talking. I was reading back on some of Wes's. He sent me some Nielsen stuff. It's like, and it's been said a million times. I mean, we'll spend thousands of dollars on a trick new motor or a body package, and whatever, and it's all fine and dandy, and we go real fast and all that. But you think anybody will spend $350 for a good fire suit or a helmet or a pair of gloves?
Yeah, how about $30 for a pair of gloves? People go to freaking Harbor Freight and buy the $2 ones.
Right. And then it's then it's I'm sorry or oops, I should. It's too late then. The damage is already done, and
they're melted to your hands.
It'd be cool if I could. I have to go talk to Pat Austin and see if I can't maybe get a one-on-one with him, because he's went through fires in alcohol cars and fires in the nitro car when he was running them, and just get his perspective of what all happens at that little short period of time.
Well, I'm sure, I know for me, I'm sure panic would set in, right? Look at what, and it wasn't even that bad. The hit was pretty bad. It was when Stengard did that.
Oh yeah,
and that motor was wound tight, and it was everybody stood there for a good little bit, just basically trying to regain their. I mean, they were just in shock, right? They didn't know. It was like everybody said they didn't know what to do. Yeah. Everybody's afraid to go touch it or pull. I mean, so imagine, and that wasn't even really that big of a deal. But imagine if like Foley's deal, right? And now and then you got guys pulling over and jumping out, wanting to go help, and it's out on the racetrack. I mean, you gotta. I mean, it's your call, guys. But we're just saying, if we can get your mind rolling, and God forbid we have any accidents, but
they're coming.
I mean, yeah. I mean, because karting's got just an awesome safety record, but when bad stuff does happen, typically it's bad.
Definitely.
So, well, we kept you a little over time tonight, but it's probably fairly important that we did that. I've asked this again. I'm gonna ask it now, Lippy and I, and now Jeff. But please, if there's something you want to know about, if there's a topic of discussion, man, let's hit it up on the board. Even do that, But drop us a line. Let us know. Hey, Terry, we'd like, let's talk about. I want to hear about. I want to chat about. I'm concerned about. Yeah. I don't know when the UAS are they for 2 years? The UAS, because I know they just had that big rule thing, but I don't know. It might be time to think about something. You brought up some great points with the fuel tank and stuff. I mean, and the more hooked up and more they are, the more fuel they're going to have to. I mean, it's on. But BK looking good. Salem Speedway looking good. We got your helmets. Everybody knows you got to have the new updated SA 2010 or 2015. and do call to Jason or hit him up on the Salem Speedway page and ask about it. Make sure. I was just reminded because I know you said there was going to be no. We don't barter. That's it.
Yep. Next year for us, it will be the 2010, I believe. Watkins hit me up on here and says he has a 2007. So now I have to go back to my insurance people and rattle their cage a little bit. I was under the impression that they were every 5 years, but he has a helmet that has a 2007. So I'll be looking into that and trying to give you guys an update on that. I know we're way over time. I do have some stuff about ORV. I have been in contact with the commissioner's office. I am getting some stuff hammered out. I also got added to a committee that will be overseeing the ORV park. So it's a committee comprised of about 10 individuals, some motorcycle people, some people from the county, and some people just standard people, not even necessarily motor people. But we are all going to be part of the hiring process of the next promoter. We have 3 promoters right now for the ORV that are putting together packages to submit to the county, and I will be involved in the process of picking out who is going to be doing that. So
are any of them good?
We don't know yet. I don't even know any of their names or anything like that. The commissioner won't tell us that. We were supposed to have a meeting on this Friday at 12 o'clock to discuss some of the packages and some of what all's going on. But with the bad weather that's coming on and it being out on the coast where I have to go to meet with everybody, they decided to cancel it. I think they're going to reschedule it for Tuesday, so I'm probably going to have some more info by the next show, but things are looking pretty good. I really didn't expect to have that many people stepping up already to take over the park, so this is a very good thing that's coming down the pike, and I'm going to be able to be part of the process, so that's even better.
That's awesome. That's good stuff.
And I also want to put a shout out to Hager, who last week gave us some stickers and shirts. I can't thank him enough. He's also put me in contact with the people over at the Ridge who want to put in a flat track over there. So as soon as I get stuff straightened out at ORV, I will be on to the Ridge to try and help them plan their track over there. So good things happening around here. Don't give up. Don't sell. We got good stuff coming.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good stuff. And so next week we'll be back with more of the same. Hopefully we got to get some topics here coming up, but we just want to let everybody know we appreciate your support. We're working hard. We're going to be trying to do some other stuff with the other show. So if you know somebody that you think would like to, be an interviewee, let us know. We'll get with them. But it's called In the Groove, so we're going to get hooking up on that. So now that we got Lippy back and kind of excited again, right? So that's really good, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So next week, we love you. When everybody's on the bottom, as in life, and on the racetrack, what do you got to do?
Hit the high side.
Hit the high side. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We love you.
Have a good week.
Stay tuned. I'll have the show notes up with those Snell stickers for you. Night, everybody. Tonight's Northwest Race Report brought to you in part by Blue Line Graphics, Wicked Fabrication, Bacon Scarfing Supplies, South Bay Automotive, Creative Ink and Design, and Scott Seal Coat. Informing, improving, and inspiring racers everywhere. Northwest Race Report, Wednesday nights, 6:30, exclusively at TerryBridges.com. Now, back to your horsepower and performance host.
Hey, race fans, Shane One-Time Smith. You listen to the Northwest Race Report with your horsepower and performance broadcaster, the one and only Terry Bridges.